Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, I have the honor to read the following joint statement on the safety and security of peacekeepers on behalf of Algeria, Armenia, Australia, Austria, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Belgium, Brazil, Brunei Darussalam, Cambodia, People's Republic of China, Colombia, Croatia, Cyprus, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Denmark, Egypt, El Salvador, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Ghana, Greece, Guatemala, Hungary, Indonesia, Ireland, Italy, Jordan, Latvia, Liberia, Luxembourg, Malaysia, Malta, Moldova, Mongolia, Morocco, Nepal, the Netherlands, North Macedonia, Pakistan, Panama, the Philippines, Poland, Portugal, Qatar, Republic of Korea, Romania, Russian Federation, Sierra Leone, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sri Lanka, Sweden, Tanzania, Thailand, Timor-Leste, Turkey, United Kingdom, Uruguay, Zambia, and the European Union. And the list is, as of now, we have indication that more countries will be joining this statement. We, the troop contributing countries to the UN Interim Force in Lebanon, or UNIFIL, joined by several other member states and the European Union, express deep concern over the escalation of tension in Lebanon since 2 March 2026 and its impact on the safety and security of peacekeepers. We condemn in the strongest terms the persistent attacks against UNIFIL, including the latest grave attacks which cost the lives of 3 Indonesian peacekeepers and injured several other peacekeepers from France, Ghana, Indonesia, Nepal, and Poland. We also firmly condemn the unacceptable aggressive behavior towards UNIFIL personnel and leadership recently observed. We recall that peacekeepers must never be the target of attack, and that attacks on them are prohibited while they enjoy protection under international law and relevant UN Security Council resolutions and may constitute a war crime.
Well, there you have it. The world is done with Trump and Israel. This is all Bible prophecy. It was just put up by the Lamb of Yahushua on TikTok. And it just speaks to the times we living in, man, where the nations of this earth have had enough, man. The nations of this earth literally are chasing Esau, the so-called white man, specifically America, and them so-called Israelis out of this world. Okay? Everyone knows that the elites of Esau, Edom, the wicked elites, Lord Rothschild, Lord Rockefeller, etc., everyone knows that they are behind all the wickedness that's pushed on this place, and they're behind these wars of aggression and colonization, even America's own allies. And that speech, okay, I counted 15 or 16 NATO members / EU members, right, which the NATO nations, the NATO alliance makes up or Slakia is the beast. Okay, the beast of Revelation is NATO, right? And them 10 horns represent the EU powers. Okay, of course, the whore that rides upon the beast, that's America. All right, but even 2 of the 7 heads, come out strongly condemning America and the so-called Israelis, right? For their wickedness, man, attacking peacekeepers, which they do that shit all the time. But anyway, the Spanish and the French, and the scriptures is clear. We always refer to it, Revelation chapter 17, that the 10 horns are gonna what? They're gonna eat the flesh of this whore, right? America. They're gonna have a hand in destroying her economy, in other words, and they're gonna burn her with fire. Okay, burn her with fire, as in shoot intercontinental ballistic missiles on this place, right? Along with Russia, Slovakia, along with Russia, right, and China, for example, and Iran, aka Persia. Let's get some scriptures. Starting the book of Obadiah, picking it up in let's see. Yeah, picking it up in well, I'll start at the top. Obadiah 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power concerning Edom, right? Because the whole world's coming against Edom. Even Edom's allies, even other Edomite ruled nations. Okay. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power concerning Edom. We've heard a rumor from the Lord, right, Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. And that's what these nations are doing. They're rising up against these Edomites, man. All right, these so-called Israelis, because that's who it starts with. Again, the Mount of Esau, Amalek, okay? And these Babylonian Edomites, right? These American Edomites. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised, right? And once again, Amalek, the Mount of Esau, represents a small fraction of the nation of Edom, right? But that also goes into insignificance, right? Edom has become insignificant in this earth. Again, the Edomites is being chased out of this world now. Okay, pursuant to Job chapter 18 and verse 18. And Edom is greatly despised because once again, the nations of the earth are seeing that the core problem of this earth is the so-called white man. The cancer of this earth is the so-called white man. All right, this is all Bible prophecy, man. Okay, this is what the scriptures teach. Yeah, you Israelites better wake the fuck up, man. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and the American Indians who are the Lord's chosen people better wake up. Because all hell's about to break loose here in America. Okay, you're about to start seeing a fight for. Salaki one more time. We're about to start seeing riots. A fight for resources. Gasoline, diesel fuel. Food riots. All right, water riots. Okay, now these devils are trying to monetize even the air. Monetize water, all right? The water's drying up. There's a drought upon our waters, pursuant to Jeremiah chapter 15, verse 38. There's a drought here in Babylon the Great. All these data centers that they're throwing up and building, right? Sucking up all the water. Okay, so all hell's going to break loose here, man. And that's exactly what the elites of Esau Edom want, right? Because they have to, at some point, they have to bring order out of all this chaos, right? Ordo ab chaos. So it's getting ready to go down here in America, man. We keep telling you this through the Spirit of the Lord, beginning with the elder apostles of great Muslim on down. We keep blowing the trumpet in Zion and warning you, warning you Israelites once again to come back to the Lord before it's too late, man. All right. Anyways, Obadiah 2 one more time. Behold, I've made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Trump is the most despised president this so-called country's ever had. All right. He's a lunatic, and he's the perfect devil. Okay, to lead you Edomites into perdition, man, and that's where you're going. Okay. And no, you Christians ain't gonna escape up into the clouds with Jesus. All right, before the tribulation, before the 7-year tribulation, all kinds of madness they teach. You're gonna be right here in America. Okay, and unless you comply and consent to Esau's NWO, all right, you're gonna wind up in a prison camp. Right along with the Israelites. Okay. You're gonna be raptured by FEMA. All right, the Lord ain't coming back for you Christians, man. All right, you're gonna be judged here in America, aka Babylon the Great. First and foremost, are people that are messing around with that plantation Christianity, and we're seeing Amalek draw all these nations out for war, man. Okay, that's what's happening. All right, prophecy's being fulfilled. Let's get that in Jeremiah. Slovakia. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49 and verse 20. Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord. All right, this is the Lord's counsel, man. This is the Holy Spirit, or Kakwada speaking, all right, through the Lord's servant Jeremiah, who represents the 144,000. Right, this is his counsel. Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord, Yahweh, that he hath taken against Edom, right, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock, right, the least of the flock of Esau is Amalek, right, shall draw them out. And that's what's happening, man. They're drawing out. These nations are being drawn out for war. Okay, America first and foremost, but all these other nations have gotten involved. I mean, you heard the man speaking. More nations are fixing to sign on to that statement. In condemning America. They're sick and tired of their shit, man. Okay. It says, surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Right. It is the so-called Israeli state, right, is going to be trodden down during this World War III, this third woe that's coming quickly, pursuant to Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. It's going to be destroyed by fire, right? Not utterly destroyed, because it has to be rebuilt, and will be rebuilt when the kingdom of heaven is established upon this earth. It will serve as the hub of the kingdom of heaven, right? And America will be thoroughly and utterly and wholly made desolate, okay? Compliments, once again, of these intercontinental ballistic missiles, these arrows that are going to be shot on Earth. Okay, and these arrows are going to be shot on America. And we're, closer than ever to this going down. We still have to go through, we keep saying it, through the power and spirit of Yahweh Shai, that we have to, go through several more prophecies being fulfilled. But, this time is coming, man. This is what all the prophets talked about. They talked about the destruction of America. They talked about the destruction of them Israelis, right? Them Amalekites in the so-called Holy Land, which there's nothing holy about that land today. That land is, again, the land has been trodden down to the Gentiles. All right, it has to be cleansed. It has to be purified. And that's what that fire is going to do, okay? Let's go ahead and get Revelation 17. These are all milk scriptures, and we all know the scriptures, but for edification's sake, again, I heard 2 of the 7 heads, man, Spain and France, come out and condemn America and the so-called Israelis, all right, for their recent attacks on UN peacekeepers, right? Revelation chapter 17 and verse 15, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth, right? America are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. All right, America's a great melting pot. All the nations of the earth are in America. All right, it says, verse 16, and the 10 horns, right, the EU nations, which thou sawest upon the beast, right, NATO, these shall hate the whore, right, the whore being America. America is that fucking whore. America is that slut, okay? It says, and shall make her desolate, right, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, right? Oh, one of the other 7 heads, right? The British, right? The UK, they come out against. Even America's own mother come out against. DJT, Nero, and them Amalekites, right? So we at the end, man. You seeing a house divided, man. You seeing Esau's house completely fucking divided against itself. We all know what the scripture says about a house divided, right? Let's since I mentioned it, let's go get it in Mark. All right, this is St. Mark chapter 3. In verse 23, and he called them unto him and said unto them, so like in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. All right? And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. All right, so Esau's house, okay, his kingdom cannot stand. All right, they're all divided against one another. Okay, Satan literally is against Satan right now. Okay, them Russian Edomites is against the so-called Israelis and the so-called Americans. Okay, all Edomites. So this place is getting ready to be brought down, man. Okay, period. Second Esdras, and I'm gonna wrap this up. It's the book of Second Esdras, chapter 16, and verse 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon, right? Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia, right? Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. So destruction is coming to Babylon, right? America. Slovakia. And destruction is coming to the Moabites too. Moab, the so-called Chinese, right? It says, verse 2, gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair, bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. And that's what's at hand, man. Destruction is coming to America. All right, again, all the nations of the earth are going to be taken down. Okay, but total destruction is coming to America. Okay, it says, a sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? Verse 3, a fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? You can't stop this, man. This is coming. This is written, and it will be fulfilled. It will come to pass. Thus saith the Lord. Thus saith the prophecies. All right. So I just thought this was beautiful through the Spirit. All these nations, the UN condemning America. America's own allies fed up with her. America's own allies fed up with DJT, the orange man. Fed up with Satan, Yahoo. All right, this is the end, man. Hey, we at the end, man. This is the end of Esau's world. 2nd Esdras chapter 6 and verse 9. But, hey, with that, I'm going to give all glory, honor, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, HaKwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of the great millstone. Salutations to the Lord's elect. Shalom.